What is good, you guys? It's Lifestyle from LifeStyleDidIt.com, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a cool way that I like to blend pianos with a lot of low-end leads, melodies, whatever you're using. But really, when you have a piano playing and you have a lot of low energy in these pianos, low frequencies, you're playing a lot of low octave notes, and then you bring in a bass line, 808, kick, whatever you're using for your low end, and you want to keep that low end of the piano in the beat, and you're kind of confused on how to do it. I have one trick that I really like to use, and I want to share that with you guys today, so let's get straight into it. All right, so this video is not going to be crazy long because this trick is pretty easy, but I brought up this beat, and you'll see that I have this piano chord progression going on, right? And we have lower notes down here, and even, some of these notes, they're going to have a lot of low end energy in it, right? If I bring up an EQ and I just kind of start playing around, you're still seeing low end energy down here, right? Especially if you're playing notes this low. You're getting a lot of energy down here that you want to keep, anywhere from 60 to 100 hertz. And when you cut it out like this, it sounds a little thin, and maybe you want to keep that energy in the beat. So I'm going to show you how you can do that without it crashing into your 808 and your kick when they come in. So without the EQ on or anything, this is what the beat would sound like, and over here you're going to hear the bass drop in. So I'm just going to kind of start it right here and let you hear. So basically I want to keep this low end energy, but once this 808 and kick come in, they're going to start to kind of clash. I'm going to show you a cool way to keep it. All right, so it doesn't sound bad, particularly in this beat, but I definitely can hear that it can be a lot cleaner down there, right? So one easy trick that I like to do is come over here. Let me make this smaller. I'm not trying to use the EQ this big. All right, so however I resize this looks really weird. But basically, what we're going to do is we're going to automate an EQ on and off. So in the sections where there's no bass and there's no kick, we're going to have the EQ off. We're going to let all that low end play. But when the 808 and the kick come in, we're going to automate for a low cut to come in on the piano, which will allow the bass to go and do its thing in the low end. Now, what this is basically doing is once all of it's playing, you're not necessarily going to hear those low-end fundamentals in the frequency because you have a bass going down there and a kick punching, right? So you necessarily don't need them, but when it cuts out, you can have that low-end energy there, and what that does is trick your ear to thinking the whole time the piano sounds like that. So basically what I'm saying is here, we're going to have a lot of low-end in the piano. Over here, when this comes in, we're going to cut it all out because what our bass is going to be doing is coming in and filling out 90% of the time those same notes that the piano are playing, right? The root notes that the piano are playing, we usually follow with the bass, not all the time, but anyways, those low notes can be taken out because the bass is going to fill that out. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. We're going to come over here, we're going to get an EQ, and I have a preset for a low cut. You can come over here and obviously make one. It's not hard to do, but I just liked having quick presets so I don't have every single time to waste time making one. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a pretty light cut. And I'm going to bring this up to, well, let's just listen to it. Right? We're not going to make it this thin. That's too much. But what we're going to do is come over here and I'm going to solo this and I'm going to solo the bass, play them together, and I'm going to cut it out till I think it sounds good. All right, so let's just play them together and I'm going to start to cut this in. See, so even if I'm all the way up at 200, the bass is filling out those low notes. So if I turn this on and off, you're not even really hearing a loss in the piano. It's actually cleaning it up. You could go that crazy. I'm not necessarily going to do that because that low bass note is way below 100 hertz. So I'm not really worried about it. And there are higher registers, fundamentals, and octaves of that bass that are going to clash. So you'd literally have to cut the piano up to 1K if you wanted to get rid of that. So we're not going to go that excessive, but I'm just going to bring this over here and use my ears and just listen to when I feel like it starts to clean up. Do on and off. I think that sounds really good. Okay, so now when the piano's alone, it's going to sound really thin. Now you can hear it. Now that's bad. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to create an automation clip on the dry and wet knob because on the on and off knob, sometimes when you create automation, you hear clips. So I just do it on the wet knob. I'm going to cut it right here, delete this. I'm going to paste this over here. I'm going to make unique. Okay, so now we have this, right? On the make unique, I'm going to turn it off. And now basically we have an on and off button. So if I go over here and show you, right? And then over here, it's going to be off. So I messed up. This needs to go like this. So over here, it's not going to be doing anything. It's at 0%. It's completely off. Now we hear this low end. But over here, it's going to turn off. But now our bass is going to fill that out for us. And now they don't clash. So it's a really cool trick you can do. So basically, every time that bass isn't playing, I'm going to let this piano have all the low end energy. So I'd go throughout here. Right over here, I hear another one. So I'm going to just take this off clip and put it over here. So now the EQ will be off and it won't be doing the cut. And I think this goes actually all the way over here. So once the bass comes back in, yeah, right here, I'm going to turn it on so that the low end of the keys cut out. And if I really wanted to, you see how there's bass gaps right here. I could go in here and literally turn it on and off. If you wanted to get that crazy, I wouldn't, but if you want to. So you see how you hear it cut in, right? So if we literally cut it on and off every time the bass comes in, we'd get something like this. And now you're going to hear, if we just solo the piano, it's going to sound kind of funky, but you're going to hear the low end come in and out. Then you turn on the bass and let it fill it out. And it's like it was there the whole time. You never hear the bass leave because you're automating it. So the bass is here, we take it out of the piano. There's no bass playing here, so we put it back in the piano. So it's a really cool trick you can do. You can do this with anything, not just pianos. And you get this illusion that basically you're hearing a lot of low end in the piano, but when the bass comes in, it goes away, but you don't know that because now we have a bass line filling it out. So it's a really cool trick I like to do. You don't have to go crazy with like side chaining it or using a multi-band and side chaining the low end. I just cut it out when the bass comes in, and when the bass isn't there, I automate the EQ off so that it stays in the piano, and you'll never know because every time it cuts off, you're like, dang, there's a lot of low end in the piano. How does he mix that with the bass? Well, when the bass is playing, the low end's not there anymore. I automated it, but you'll never be able to hear that unless you see it. So like I said, real easy tutorial. Some of you might already do this. I've been doing it for a while, and I just thought it'd be something cool to share because I get a lot of questions on how I get them to blend well together. And it's really just kind of like a magic trick, I guess you would say, something you might not expect to do, and you might over advance it, and you can hide it by the bass playing and the keys being cut out and vice versa. So it's a really cool trick I like to do. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up. You guys can follow me on all social medias at LifeStyleDidIt. Make sure to hit my site, LifeStyleDidIt.com, for everything else. Other than that, subscribe to your boy. Thanks.